Hey guys, today I want to go over some quick tips and tricks for the Kortz Center heist. And I'm going to admit, for me, this one was a bit of a struggle. I think I might have played through the finale at least, 20, 30 or more times trying to figure this one out. I made sure going in that I had every one of the setups completed and therefore was able to try all the different approaches and exits. Rockstar definitely gave us some options with this one. But first, I want to comment on the overall gameplay of this heist. I'm sure this is going to come as no surprise if you've played it already, or you've listened to others who've played, but this heist definitely has its fair share of bugs and glitches. Some of which look like Rockstar's patched, thankfully, but there's still some not-so-friendly issues. The biggest of these, and my number one gripe, is the fact that there's absolutely no consistency when it comes to being detected. For example, I performed one particular section of this heist with the exact same approach, with the exact same route, with the exact same number of guards, with the exact same location of each of the guards, and with the exact same positioning of the cameras. There was literally no change in how I was walking through this particular section, except the fact that sometimes I'd get detected, and sometimes I would not. It's literally that broken. There's absolutely no rhyme or reason in how you may or may not get detected in this heist, and this made things incredibly frustrating, especially when you consider that once you get detected, you cannot just restart without you not still being detected. You need to physically close the heist and then begin the whole thing over again back at your mansion. So yeah, this was my biggest headache and something I'm really wishing Rockstar fixes soon. I'll touch more on my thoughts at the end of this video, but for now, let's get into this. So my goal in this video is to provide some simple overall tips. I'm not going to get into the details of walking through this heist because I still feel that the golden route, or the meta of this heist, is still yet to be determined. Depending on what Rockstar ends up patching or fixing is going to completely alter what some people have already suggested is the meta. So, in my opinion, I think any discussion or talk regarding the perfect route is still a little premature. Okay, first, the approach. No matter what option you choose, you're always going to need to travel from your mansion to the Kortz Art Center. How you do this is entirely up to you. For me, I like to cut down on the time and do them one of two ways. For my first option, and if you have one, I would strongly recommend using your Vigilante. You can basically straight line it directly to the gallery using the boost. Once you're there, you can then go to the particular entrance of your choice. Now, the only one this will not work with is the alpha male option. For this one, you will still need to drive the van. For me though, when I use a Vigilante, I can simply park it near the wall nearest the staff entrance, and then use it to jump up and begin my run. After you take out the one guard at the top of the steps, you can then just run along the wall without being detected.
Boss, bring home that bread. I'll meet you at the lockup when you're done and we can do an unboxing, you know? I already got buyers on the line, ready to jump on any extra.
Once you're at the corner, you'll need to pay attention to the one guard walking back and forth, but that's it. As soon as he turns away or is positioned at the far end, simply run under the camera to the door and you are home free.
I backed the key card reclosed. Should slip right in. If it doesn't, I'll kill Ray myself.
My second option, and by far the quickest way to get from your mansion to the gallery is, that's right, just kill yourself at the start of the mission. You can only do this though if you're playing normal mode. In hard mode, you will only get one life. Again, more on this at the end. So, after killing yourself, the game will place you directly out front of the gallery. And no, this will not limit you in getting the elite challenge, as you will still have one life left. And dying does not count as a strike. And chances are, if you do end up dying once anyway, it means you've just been detected. So, at that point, it doesn't matter anyway. And finally, just like my first option, you cannot use this method if you've chosen the alpha male option. So, if your entrance is the staff doors, once you respawn, you simply need to keep running straight along the wall until you come to the first guard. Once you take him out, head up the stairs.
I'll make sure you get a good price. Wow, our first heist together. You gotta love it. Now listen, when you're on the home stretch, we got a lockup ready with our contacts standing by.
Through the pool around the guards' cone of vision. And then straight to the staff door. Just be cautious of that one guard again, the one that walks back and forth. Once he's looking away or at the opposite end of the entrance, just run along the wall under the camera like you did before, and you are good to go.
Today ain't that nice. I mean, I had to slip her some cash, obviously, but still. Listen, Ray did a great job on the keycard replica. Should work on the staff door, no problem.
Alright, my next tip is the weapon loadout. For me, this is a no-brainer. To give yourself the widest selection of weapons with the least amount of pain in performing the setup mission, you definitely want to choose a security option. This will be better than the street option in that it provides you with a stun gun, and the setup will be far less treacherous than the military option. Not to mention, closer, unless you own the Tongva Mansion. It's the perfect balance and one that I would strongly recommend. Okay, so like I said, I'm not going to cover too much of the route once you're inside the building, other than providing you with my one and only tip here, and that is, always use one of your silent weapons to kill the guards. Even though you can use the stun gun, I would not recommend it for two reasons. The first, and most obvious, is that if you use a stun gun, you'll have to re-stun all the guards once you leave the vault, which takes time and can lead to more mistakes. Secondly, any weapons equipped with a silencer can go through the glass in the control room, which will make life a whole lot easier. The only benefit of using the stun gun in here is if you're planning to knock out your career progress and the award goals. But again, more on this at the end. Alright, the last tip I have involves the Getaway. My only suggestion here is what not to use. Unless you're up for a huge challenge, I would not recommend the Karakara. In the finale, it's completely surrounded by guards, and it's nearly impossible to sneak away undetected, which means you're most likely going to get shot at on your way to this vehicle, and as a result, lose some of your money. As far as the best getaway approach, I have some mixed feelings on this. I know most people are suggesting the bikes, and although I don't necessarily disagree with this, I think the helicopter needs to get some love here as well. Yes, the setup for this one is a little lengthy and can be a bit of a pain, but it's not really that difficult. And when you consider how easy it is once you exit the building in the finale, it's definitely the most laid back and easiest of the bunch. For instance, once you exit the gallery, simply turn left and walk to the corner.
Hey boss, your mansion security team's throwing their weight around trying to draw the cops' attention.
You'll first need to headshot one of the guards looking at the stairs. And yes, it can be a little frustrating because there's a big red banner blowing back and forth in the wind that's somewhat blocking you. But that's really the only pain point. After this, just head for the stairs. Once you're at the top, there's another guard to take out that's super easy, and, well, that's it. The mission is basically over. You get in the helicopter and then enjoy the ride to the drop-off. And yes, I did end up purchasing the very expensive and overpriced advanced avionics. And maybe because of this, in all my travels in the helicopter, not once did it crash or do anything stupid. And side note, it does look like Rockstar fixed the ending. The helicopter doesn't drop like a rock. Instead, you simply hover overhead and then propel down to rendezvous with Raph. In the long run, and all things considered, the Manchez bikes are probably going to be the important piece to the meta. But I don't know. From my point of view, the helicopter isn't as bad as some people make it out. For me, driving in this game now, especially when trying to lose the cops, can make for some potentially very tense moments. Plus, if you add in the fact that you're totally exposed and open to being shot at, or worse yet, killed by some random driver while on these bikes, it's not that cut and dry for me. I'd like to get your thoughts on this though. And finally, my overall assessment of the heist. First, yes, I do think that overall this is a good heist. If you take away all the bugs that I mentioned earlier, I think that what it provides is a variety and overall challenge, while not being too long and drawn out, which was one of my fears going in. So I think a definite thumbs up needs to be directed at Rockstar. However, my biggest issue with this heist is still when it comes to the money. I heard a lot of people raving about the $2 million plus payout last week, and I was just rolling my eyes. I don't think a lot of people realize that this is only one of a possible 20 or so paintings that we'll be getting that, as luck would have it, has the largest payout. My guess going forward is that we'll be seeing this same painting about as much as we used to see the Panther Diamond in the Payout heist. And when you factor this in with the huge drop-off in pay for subsequent heists, well, to tell you the truth, I'm only going to be doing what Rockstar wants. I'm only going to be performing this new Kortz Heist once per week. And that's it. The payout to do more just isn't worth it. And speaking of worth it, I alluded earlier that there are some options in the heist, i.e. the Elite Challenge or performing the heist on hard mode, that will provide you with a little more money. But my recommendation to everyone listening, ignore these. Now, if you get really good at doing this heist, sure, challenge yourself with these extra incentives. But for me, just not worth it. With the potential bugs and glitches in this heist and the fact you need to pay way more up front than anyone should for doing this, the mansion, the art studio, all the upgrades, and finally the $100,000 entry fee, yeah, I have no desire to try and challenge myself with a potentially bugged heist while only getting back pennies on the dollar. You know, I never thought I'd see the day when an online gaming company would put in place barriers that actually made the player play less. But here we are. Alright, so that's my friends. Thank you for watching. As always, if you like this video and want to help out, please subscribe, give a thumbs up, and let me know what you think. It's been a week. The dust has settled. What are your thoughts? You think the Kortz Heist is a major thumbs up, thumbs down, or somewhere in between? As always, drop a comment below and let everyone know. Until next time, be happy, save my TV, the one Maestro.